can't seem to adapt. And somebody told me that you felt the same way since we went. Why won't you give me a call? We'll ride on those waves again. California. And I can wait through a storm, 'cause without you it wouldn't be the same. Last night I was dreaming out loud. California sun was making my eyes dry. Can we still make it happen? It's worth a try. Oh, and I might keep on dreaming out loud. It's a beautiful life staying under blue skies. And next year in the winter, let's give it a try. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight. Yeah, I'll be dreaming out loud tonight. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight.
The first thing, if you're going to make money, is that you're not going to get rich renting out your time. Even lawyers and doctors who are charging $300, $400, $500 an hour, they're not getting rich because their lifestyle is slowly ramping up along with their income, and they're not saving enough. They just don't have that ability to retire.
Mhm.
So the first thing you have to do is you have to own a piece of a business. You need to have equity, either as an owner, an investor, shareholder, or a brand that you're building that accrues to you to gain your financial freedom.
We are not just doing deals, we are building businesses. And remember this, all bad fortune is conquered by endurance. And I'm telling you, you're going to need endurance in this business because it takes a lot of conversations. It takes a lot of proactive activities every single day to build up your business. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about building an actual business here. We're talking about at some point replacing yourself in each and every single one of the roles in your wholesaling business. Why do I think that building a wholesaling business is what you should focus on? It's because it's the foundation of everything else you want to do in the real estate industry. All right. You want to flip houses, you got to find deals. You want to buy rentals and have a big portfolio. You want to go into those opportunities with equity when you buy them. That is the number one rule. That's the golden standard with any real estate investment that you make, is you want to step into those opportunities with equity. You make money when you buy these properties, but you have to find the best deals. If you have a business that is 100% focused on finding ugly properties, ugly houses, and getting big checks, you win. Check this out. This is just, I'm just telling you, this is exactly what I'm talking about here. You see all that blue? You see that blue right there? That is business. That is people that are wealth. And it's kind of hard to see, but it goes down there. Once you hit that fourth line, the first one's 10K in wealth. The next one's 100K, and then 1 million, and then 10 million. There we go. Thanks, Matt. You look at that, the business, you can pull me off here so everybody can see what the blue means. That is business ownership, business interests. Do you see where the real estate is? It's that next blue line. It's that little blue line there. That is the absolute truth. When people have that $10 million net worth, a fraction of that is owning real estate. Most of that is being built by their business. You are entrepreneurs. Focus on ugly houses, big checks. Got it? All right, now let's get back to endurance. Let's talk about how many people we actually have to talk to build this business when we're starting out to where we want to go with hiring and bringing on cold callers and bringing on acquisition managers and bringing on your disposition managers. Let's go to the board. I think that this is going to sum it up and make it very, very clear. All right, look at this. Okay, there's you, right? There's you. You're powerful. You're in there. Surrounded. The outside layer here is your personal board of directors. These are the 5 people that are going to support you. These are the 5 people that are going to make sure that you are on the right path and you get there faster. All right. Outside of that is your referral partners. Why do I put them right here? I'll explain that in a second, because it takes less conversations and you get more out of this group, but it takes a while to build them up. And then you've got the ugly houses here on this line, and then all real estate. So let's filter this down. You've got every single real estate. There's 142 million residential real estate properties, 142 million residential real estate properties right there. We filter it down to the ugly houses. Stop trying to convince people that should be selling their properties on the MLS to take a cash as is offer from you. Okay? You're wasting your time. If they're in good shape, they should be putting it on the market. That's 90 to 94% of the real estate market should be just selling it traditionally. We're talking about serving the people that are in that 6 to 10% that are in distress at all time. Vacant properties, pre-foreclosures, tax defaults, code violations, liens on the property. It doesn't matter. You're driving around. It's just a dated property, vacant properties. Right? That's what we're going after. But to do that, you have to look at the numbers here. All right? To do $1 million, to have $1 million business, you got to do 50 deals typically, depending on your market, but it's about 50 deals because you average about $20,000 when you're going out there and you're finding these opportunities. Okay? So you got 50 deals here. So what are the numbers behind that? Well, listen, you got to talk to 200 people to get one deal, and that's you talking to them. If you have a VA doing it, it's usually 4 times as many people that they have to talk to get one deal. So that's 800 to get one deal. Okay? So in the beginning, build it up yourself, put in the work so that you can keep all the profits, because it costs a lot more to skip trace. It costs a lot. You have to get big, robust lists. You have to put that into your budget, right? So make sure 200 to 1, that's you making these calls. So that means 1,000 hours. 1,000 hours of calls, 10,000 contacts to do 50 deals. Well, that sounds crazy. That's wild. That's $1 million business, right? That's $1 million business. If you use the same thing, say you just want to make 100,000, that's 5 deals, right? 5 deals in a typical market. As long as you're going for properties that are, when they're fixed up, they're more than 150,000. Now remember, we make about 10%. So to hit that $20,000 average, you got to go for the properties that are around 200,000 when they're fixed up. If you're going after properties that are less than that, you have to do a lot more deals, which is fine. Some markets you can do a lot more deals. They're just smaller deals. But really, I want to challenge everybody to push the envelope on the neighborhoods and the price points that you're going after, because it's the same amount of effort. Truly is. So you've got 50 deals, 10,000 contacts. Now here's what's really interesting. Really, really, really interesting is 25 people here. We had a conversation Monday on Wholesale Hotline with Jamil, and he said on average his top referral partners send him 4 deals a year. 4 deals a year. Now let's look at a little bit of a difference here in the referral versus just going after ugly houses directly. Okay? Typically a referral, you're going to get that deal closed in 30 days, which is awesome, right? By the time somebody's referring you the business, or an agent's bringing you the business, or another investor's bringing you the business, typically you're getting paid in about 30 days. But it's a $7,500 to $10,000, right? $7,500, $10,000 deal. All right? Ugly houses here, marketing, if you want to go and spend, if you want to do bandit signs, if you want to do direct mail, if you want to do pay-per-click, you want to do billboards, you want to do radio, you want to do TV, whatever it is, whenever somebody's calling you, that's called marketing. right? And it's phenomenal. And a lot of people love marketing because it takes all that like nervousness of like reaching out and interrupting people's day and getting a tremendous amount of rejection. And I get it, but it's expensive. I mean, it costs money to get people to call you. If you don't have a big budget, then you're not going to be able to market. I mean, you could put out some bandit signs and do that type of thing. That's okay. But that takes your time. That takes a lot more time for you to put it out there and do all that. And so, but typically in marketing, 42 days is from the time that you talk to that person to the time that it gets closed. Okay? And you typically make 15 to 20,000. All right. The reason that this 15 to 20,000 is a little less than prospecting is because typically when you are getting deals from marketing, they're not just calling you. And remember, deals get smaller if you're competing with other offers. It's just a fact. When you're just negotiating with the seller yourself, that's when you get the absolute biggest, best deals. So 42 days here, 15 to 20, and then prospecting typically takes 90 days. This is what is crushing most people. This. It is difficult when you're starting and building a new skill to stay committed and have enough confidence and have enough trust in yourself and have enough faith that it's going to work out for that 90 days of consistently making those calls, consistently building your pipeline of opportunities. This is the critical 90 days, but you get past this, you should have a robust pipeline of leads that's going to start popping. A deal a month, boom, boom, boom. Then a deal a week, boom, boom, boom. And then up from there, right? But you got to get past that first 90 days. This is the hardest part for people, is consistently doing it. And that's why it's so critical that you have, that you squad up with people that are actively doing this business. Because if it's just you sitting at your kitchen table, making calls, and you're not used to ever doing that before, that 90 days is going to feel like 90 years for real. Like, you need to be around people that are proactive, that are doing this business, that are really pushing you to keep taking action every single day. But typically you make 20 to 25,000 on those deals in this market. Okay? In this market with price points going bananas, that's what they average. It used to be 15,000. All of these have gone up. All of them. And maybe that'll adjust. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, 20 to 25,000 from being proactive, reaching out, and prospecting. All right. So let's go back to this. You've got your ugly houses. You need to make. You've got your referrals, right? 25 referrals. 25 people that are sending you 4 deals a year. That's bananas. But look, you have to talk to 300 real estate agents to build up your referral database. You have to have 300 contacts to get a deal. But remember, this one person, this one deal that you get here is going to actually end up being 4 deals a year. Isn't that bananas? So do you see why it's so important to add this referral part? This is where a lot of people screw it up. Because a lot of people want to stay in this ugly house. They want to market and prospect here and just stay with that and not build a relationship and build the relationship that's going to give them referrals. You got to do both. In the beginning, it's going to be all the way up here. You're going to be making all the calls and getting all the deals. And it's going to be your blood, sweat, and tears and going out there and being proactive and talking to the ugly houses. But you also have to start building up this 25. You got to build up this 25. This has to be a focus as well in your business, because this 25 is going to end up evening out. You're going to start getting 50% of your deals from referrals, 50% from your efforts on marketing and prospecting. And then at some point, it'll go all the way up. You'll get like 90% of your deals from referrals. And when that happens, yes, you put in all this effort. Yes, you put in all this time. But guess what the marketing cost is for a referral? It's a referral. They're sending it to you. Typically, there's nothing. Maybe you split the deal. Maybe you split the deal with whoever's referring you, the business, but there's no like out-of-pocket expense. So really start implementing this. Really start looking at the core here. There's you. There's your board of directors. Here's your squad. Like, how fast can you build up your referral partners? Takes 300 agents. You have to have good quality conversations with 300 agents to get one of them that's going to stick around. And then you're going to have to filter and constantly be building that. It's not like these 25 are going to be around forever. Some agents quit the business. Some agents focus on other things. Some agents decide that they want to flip themselves. You have to take that into account. You're always feeding this. You're always building up your referral partners. But make sure that you do. And I'm telling you, you're going to have a long-lasting business that's going to be wildly profitable. When you're starting out, you got to call 200 to 1. 201 or 800 to 1 if you're hiring people. You're hiring a virtual assistant or professional cold callers. 201. Now you can get that down with the people that are really, really, really skilled and experienced. But most of those people are hired by me. No, I'm just kidding. No, they work with people for a long time because they really bring in a lot of income. So if you find one, you got to really treat them right. Okay, so that's it. You, 5 people in your personal board of directors, 25 referral partners, and 50, right? 50 deals here from calling all of these from the 10,000 contacts that you have to have and the 1,000 hours that you got to put in. All right, or quadruple this if you're hiring people. Okay, got it. Awesome. Raphael, what do you think?
Boom, fire. Fire. Case in point, agent referrals, they work very well. We're working a deal right now that was brought to me by a broker.
Yep.
So, ninja trick, right? If you go straight to the brokers, they get exposed to every single deal that their agents have. So his agent took him the deal. He knows me, so he brought it to me. It's a commercial deal. We're making $84K on it. They're making $90 on that commercial deal, but it's a referral, right? Yep. It's important to build up that database and have a mix, especially when things are so dynamic, when things are changing, right? So much. Like right now, I don't think sellers have gotten the memo yet about, like, for example, like the absorption rate that's increasing throughout the.
What is absorption rate?
Absorption rate.
You're saying big words
here. It's a realtor terminology.
Yeah.
But it's the how long can we last in the market if things keep selling at the same rate and no other new listings come up. All right. So how long, it used to be, I think it was just under a month. Now it's close to a month and a quarter. Mm-hmm. Right. So inventory is just, getting a little bit higher up there. But the point being is that the market is changing and you need to supplement your business with just creative thinking, thinking outside the box. And this is a perfect way to do it. People are already doing that prospecting. Why, might as well tap into it. Right.
Well, I'm telling you, as you start a business, and I don't care what business it is, when you have a referral base, when you have people that are going to constantly word of mouth tell people about your business and what you do, you're going to win. Yeah. You're going to win. You're going to be wildly profitable, but it takes time. It takes time. 1, we have to be very proactive to start those relationships. But 2, you have to be really proactive in those relationships. You got to bring the energy. You got to bring the enthusiasm. You got to be reaching out to them every single week and really letting them know that you're ready. You're going to respond. And when they send you a referral, you jump on it. You need to communicate very fast, because if you don't, then it's going to really start eroding the relationship. So make sure that you're really, really, really responding very quickly. It is shocking to me how many people don't return text messages.
Oh my God.
It is shocking to me how many people don't return text messages quickly. Like, I am telling you, you could set yourself apart from the whole pack if you just respond to text messages quickly and with some enthusiasm and with some yes, let's get this done. Yes, right. That certainty and that likability, you got to put it into your texts. You got to put it into your calls. You got to put it into every interaction that you have in this business. Certainty and likability. And I learned that from Todd Toback. Todd Toback was my mentor's older brother, Tom Kroll, and one of my mentors, Todd. Todd and I have done a lot of business together, and he's going to be on at 11 o'clock today. Do not miss that. Okay, do not miss that. He's going to be on at 11 o'clock, and he's going to be he's absolutely incredible. 10 minutes of his time is worth hundreds of thousands. So make sure that you stick around for that. I wanted to play a quick little game. while we're getting this warmed up. I want some participation from the crowd, and then we're going to break this open here on the Ugly House's Big Checks show here. Remember, this is a participation show. This doesn't happen without you guys. Make sure that you are putting in the comments where you're doing business so that you can squad up with other people that are doing business in those markets, or maybe have a deal in those markets that they need to sell. Make sure you're squatting up. Make sure that you are putting in whatever successes that you had. If you locked up a deal, if you sold a deal, nobody celebrates more wins than on this show. We want to ring that victory bell for everybody that's out there making an impact in their communities, in their business. So make sure that you post that. And then any questions that you have, make sure that you hit us up with that. The last half hour of the show, we're going to start bringing people on live. So make sure that you're prepared for that. We'll put a link in the comment section so that you can come backstage. You will not be on the show if your camera is not turned on. The camera has to be turned on. All right. If there's some issues with your internet connection, we're gonna have to move on. All right. But beyond that, we're gonna rock and roll on this show. So let's take a look at this. I'm curious. Do you want? Oh, here we are. Which one? A or B? Which one would you have? Which one would you take? Can you guys see that? What do you think, A or B? B, okay. Anybody else? A, we got an A. I love this. There's a on Facebook. There's Ridiculous Real Estate, and I follow them, and they just put on these beautiful houses. And I'm just curious on people's taste. You know, I'm curious on people's big dreams. You know, if you had all the money in the world, what would you buy here? Would you buy A or would you buy B?
Can I put B on the A location?
Okay, no, you cannot put B on the A location, right?
Mountainsides, man.
Yeah, I know. That is just beautiful. So put in there A or B, guys. Participate in this. I'm just real curious, and we'll see. All Hunter will keep us posted on what you think. I'm just curious what the audience thinks. What really grabs your attention? What really, like, oh my gosh, that is amazing, right? A or B. Check that out. All right. Because listen, you build up a business and you grow this thing and you start buying assets and get really wealthy. You could buy houses like this. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It is business owners that buy those business and buy those properties, though. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. So A or B, put it in there. That is, it's going to be real interesting to see what's going on. And so let's crack this thing open. Let's get to some questions and start firing up the show.
Before we move into the questions, Brent,
Yep.
you were talking about marketing, right?
Yes.
I wanna highlight one thing that's often, like, I think it's missed when you're like with the importance of prospecting.
Yep.
Yeah, you can drop marketing campaigns out there. You can do a lot of stuff, but prospecting has a benefit that's often overlooked. It's the fastest way to stack your deals and your follow-ups. You're not going to get a lot of that kind of stuff when it comes to your marketing, right? Usually people are ready, you move on quick and that sort of thing. So the spreads, tend to have that tighter margin.
Yep.
But what happens with prospecting, especially during that 90-day period, is that you start stacking the follow-ups. And then I like to think of it as just kind of building up the stack of what do you call that game, the one with the Jenga, something like that. I always mess that up. The word. All right. Yeah, I say it in Spanish. Anyways,
I like it. I think I like it better in Spanish, actually.
So yes, that. And then you pull one, then they just all come in, right? You stack them, and then they start popping. So, anyways, that's one thing to consider also when you're prospecting.
Love it. Yeah. Stack those leads. Are we ready with questions, you two?
I just found out that we're having people on here. So.
Okay, here we go. The Scarface of crypto. What's the best list to cold call? Driving for dollars.
Yep.
When you start out, 80% of people will get their first deals from driving for dollars. So don't overthink it. Drive around in your town and find the ugliest properties that you can and call them. Have a conversation. Knock on the door if you can't get a hold of them. Write a handwritten letter if you've called and door knocked and still can't get a hold of them, right? That is where you're going to start building your momentum, because the fact is most people that have really rundown houses do not have the financial capabilities to rehab that house. And because of the condition of that house, you can't get a conventional loan, which means literally The only way they can get rid of that property is a cash buyer. That's it. A cash buyer. So there you go. So your driving for dollars list for sure. Michael, when hiring cold callers, is it better to hire them for 8 hours a day or only the last 4 hours when you have the best answer rate, 4 to 8? I always had the best answer rate in the morning, to be honest, Michael. So I don't think day of time, like time of day, there it is, really matters. As long as the sun's up is going to be fine. But I would start them out at 4 hours to see how their endurance is, because you have to build your endurance. Now, if they've been doing this a long time and they're chomping at the bit and they go 4 hours and then they're like, hey, I want to do more, or you can only get the best talent and they will only focus on your business, but they need 40 hours, then go for it. It's kind of case by case, Michael. I wouldn't say, well, listen, if you've got a superstar caller over here, only give them 4 hours so they don't get burned out. Well, listen, if they have to pay their bills and if they're really good and they've already built up endurance and they have the experience, then give them 8 hours. So it just depends on the talent. Depends on your budget, Michael. Right?
Hey,
So,
can I give some we just updated the KPIs,
Yeah.
like the requirements for
What's
the
a
cold callers.
KPI?
Yeah, key performance indicators.
what does that mean?
It's the metrics, the numbers that your business follows, so you know where you're headed, right? It's
There
kind of
we
like the dashboard on your car.
Mhm.
It's the gauge that tells you how much fuel you have left and miles per hour, per gallon,
Yep.
and that sort of thing. So you have certain things that keep your team accountable, right? We just updated these metrics for the cold callers that we're using. So I want to give you guys the just the stats that we're looking for. We're using, and it depends on what dialer you're using and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
We're using ready mode, which used to be Zen call.
Mm-hmm.
But like out of a cold caller that's sitting there 8 hours, we expect them to make 400 calls.
Yep.
The connection rate, if we're pulling info from batch, the quality is pretty, it's pretty high up there. So the connection rate, it's 82%. So they have about 310 connections out of that.
Yep.
So reach is 400, connections about 310. I expect them to have 90 conversations and then 2 to 3 leads a day. So those are my expectations per seat.
Love it.
When it comes to metrics on cold calls.
How many do you have?
8. We're at 8 right
Woo! So
Yeah.
how do you keep up with that many leads?
now. I have 3 acquisitions.
Okay.
Yeah, so they get pre-qualified, or they get sourced and then pre-qualified by my lead manager, and then she sends them over to our acquisition reps.
What's the budget for 8 callers with data, with dialers, with the labor costs?
So we're looking at payroll.
Yeah.
We're looking at about $1,400 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I
Okay.
mean, payroll is not it's not really high because we hire them directly, and
Yep.
then my lead manager just manages them.
Okay.
So we have that, and then
Which I do not suggest you do
yeah.
if you're starting out.
do not start that way.
Have a managed cold caller. Have
Yeah.
them managed. You do not want to juggle that until you have somebody that can do it for you. Do not do it yourself because it's going to it's going to totally distract you.
Yeah.
But Raphael, don't compare Raphael's chapter 20 to your chapter 2. You know what I mean?
And the reason we keep it in house now is because we know what to look for, right?
Right.
If you have a company that manages your cold callers, they know what to look for. So just rely on their services. It's gonna be a little pricier, but it's okay because you're getting that quality that you don't have yet because of the experience.
Love it.
So, but yeah, we have that, and then they pre-qualify, and then they send them over to acquisitions. I
Awesome.
mean, it's a 3-step process, right, that goes in there.
Awesome.
So.
Yep. So there you go, Michael. What do you do to pass time as the dialer rings? Practice, read or practice? Yeah, that's a great question because there's times in there where it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes where it's just dialing and nobody's picking up. I would just kind of, I would stand up. I always stood up the full 3 hours. I'm always in a well-lit room. I'm always ready. As soon as I'm always assuming motivation when they pick up the phone. I'm bringing my my really high optimism to the call, right? I'm really kind with the call, and I'm ready. As soon as somebody picks up, I'm going to be able to have a good conversation if they allow it, right? Sometimes they just hang up on you or whatever. But for the most part, I can use my tone of voice as my body language. Tone of voice is your body language on the phone, right? And I can use my tone of voice in the first 5 seconds to get me the next 30 seconds. Remember, your first 5 seconds gets you the next 30 so that you can get out why you're calling, right? And if you sound like a neighbor, if you sound like they've talked to you before, if you assume the relationship, then they naturally, kind of give you a little bit more leeway. Now, some people are busy, some people are mad, some people are drivers, some people just don't want to deal with it and they just click or, yell at you or whatever else, but then you just move on. But you need to be prepared, right? Just like Bill Belichick has said like a bazillion times, his whole motto, just do your job this one play. That's how he built the championships, right? Just do your job this one play. And so just do your job this one call, right? And every single call, assume that motivation, all right? While I'm calling, I would just doodle. I would just draw. I would just, whatever. Maybe look at properties on Zillow that I just talked to or something like that. Luke Rothfull, the best caller in my opinion in the country. He plays Madden. He literally plays Madden Live. He was top 5% in Madden Live for years while he was making his calls, and he was able to do that. If you're able to keep yourself entertained, some people watch sports, some people play games, whatever it is. Some people read, whatever it is. Just make sure that when they answer that call, you're not on your back foot. So mentally, if you could do it, but just make sure you're not on your back foot. All right.
Try texting. Yeah. I mean, running your SMS campaign.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, double dip.
You can text and call at the same time.
Yeah, double dip on that time.
That's right. Also, how many times a week do you follow up to continue to build rapport, especially when they are interested or would consider selling? Depends on their timeline, Teresa. Every conversation that you have is centered around 4 things: condition of the property, timeline to sell that property, motivation to sell it, and their price. So what's their timeline? If their timeline is hot, they want to sell, they've made the decision that they're going to sell this property, you're talking to them all the time. You're talking to them on a daily, weekly basis. Just depends on when they're ready to make that decision. If they're kind of like, well, if I get the right price, or how much will you offer me, or we're kind of thinking about it, or my tenants are out in October and it's, March or whatever else, you need to understand the timeline and try to shorten that timeline. That's the most important thing, is timeline. So you need to figure that out, and then you know how to respond effectively to them. But Teresa, don't overthink this. The Nike motto of just do it when it comes to lead follow-up is the best answer to follow-up. Just do it. You're not going to lose deals from excess follow-up. I mean, maybe if you're have the worst tone of voice and you're super aggressive and mean, that would probably that would not be good. But I know you guys aren't. So you just be yourselves. Bring that certainty and likability on every call. Awesome. Daniel asks, how do you get around with bulk texting if you don't have a business? I'm not sure what that question means. Raph, do you understand?
I think they might be talking about the LLC restrictions. Sometimes if you're going through Twilio or stuff like that.
You need to set it up through an LLC?
Yeah, they'll ask you for an LLC and that sort of thing. Look at the providers. There, I know Launch Control has, you can set up your SMS texting that way as well. So
cool.
There may be some workarounds.
Daniel, set up your business. Set up your business.
Yeah, it's easy.
If it takes some time, usually it doesn't take that long. But Prime Corporate Services, guys, I'm telling you, they're phenomenal. They set it up all for you. Do not waste your time setting it up yourself. You'll do it wrong and you'll screw it up. Prime Corporate Services basically does it at cost. It costs a little bit, but not much, because they want to bring you into their world, because they help with tax planning, which is huge, which every business person needs to figure out is tax planning. They do it all for you. And then they also set up business credit for you. So, I mean, that's their 2 bread and butters, but they bring everybody in. Their kind of tripwire is helping you set up your business and doing it right. They've set up over 100,000. They set up all of mine. So like really like get it set up, Daniel. Like stop messing around. And if you need that for Twilio or whatever else it is, then do it.
Well, you want to have it anyways because of the barrier of protection that you get.
Yeah.
Between doing business from a personal to a business.
Let's put that link in the comments too, if you could. Yeah, awesome. Jesse, what system would you use to call and text at the same time? If they don't answer, would you text them or leave a voicemail? Is there a dialer that texts at the same time or just voicemail?
No, just
right. So
yeah,
Batch Leads and Mojo Dialer. Batch Leads and Mojo. Yep. That's the two resources that you need to have, and that'll take care of it. Yeah, so you're making you're doing your text through Batch Leads and you're making your calls through Mojo. So two different systems, but we're fast. I mean, we're built for this. We can have two screens open at the same time as entrepreneurs for sure. Dan, I'm having only 10% response rate. How are you getting 380 contact rate for 400 calls? How is that even possible? Maybe I need to switch from call tools to ready mode. He's asking you, Ref.
Having 10% response rate.
380 is just that it's connecting.
Yeah, so that's a connection rate,
not a contact.
Yeah, and it's around 310. Well, it's 82% of whatever we dial out. It's about 82%. That's the average connection rate.
That it's the right number.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that you talk to them.
Somebody picks up and it's the right number and there's some type of connection happening.
You are talking to them.
Huh?
You are talking to them?
No, we're talking to about 90 people. But about
Right.
82% of the calls, the outbound calls connect. Yeah.
They just don't get shut down.
Yeah, response is different from connection rate.
Yeah, connection. He's just meaning that the numbers are dialing an actual number, and it's not just like a dead number, Dan.
Yeah.
So kind of confusing there, but thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Jake, anyone here from Utah? Let's squat up. Look at Jake and that
Boom.
smile and that beard. Look at him crushing it. Recently squatted up with a new wholesaler for a $65,000 assignment fee. We are going bananas for that. Here we go.
Dope.
Breaking it open. Woo!
Now we're talking.
Jake, $65,000 fee. That is what I'm talking about. Remember, it goes back to this. Who wants to squat up? Who wants to squat up with all the real estate agents that work with investors in your area? You need 25 of them that love you, that want to do so much business with you. And you only need them to send you a deal once every 90 days. You have 25 people that send you 4 deals a year. You are set. I mean, you are going to be netting so much from your business and investing so much into assets because you're not going to go bananas. You're not going to go and buy the silly car. That's what the people, did you see the net worth of people that are 10,000 and 100,000? It's all car, right? That's where people are focused on. You go to the super wealthy people, it is a fraction is cars, right? Cars are quicksand, man. I'm telling you, it's quicksand. Stay focused. Invest in assets. All right. Ops Greg asks, do I need to have a contract before working with a JV partner? It depends. Do you need a JV partner to send you deals or to sell your deals? Buy or sell? Is it a buyer or is it a seller? Right? I mean, is it... yeah, that's basically it. So if you have a contract and you need somebody, you need to have a contract before you reach out to somebody to sell your deals. But if it's a real estate agent, if they're sending you a referral or another wholesaler, they have it. They'll set up the contract. They'll do all that for you. But remember, here's the thing. And here's the thing that scares people about their referral database. You need to have a proof of funds. You need to have the confidence that you can get the deal done. You need to make sure that your numbers are clean and tight and make sure that you can get that deal done. Because you can't build up that 25 people that are going to send you 4 deals a year if they don't think that you can close and you don't know what your numbers are. That's why I highly suggest if you're starting out in this business, cut your teeth with prospecting. Cut your teeth here. Right here, ugly houses. 142 million houses in the U.S. Find the ugly ones. They're 6 to 10%. 6 to 10%. That's a huge number. That's almost 14 million on the high end. There's plenty of ugly houses, right? And talk to them. Have those conversations. Understand how to comp properties. Understand what your cash buyers are looking for. Build your cash buyer database so that you have the confidence, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 your referral base starts exploding because you can close all deals because you've got an incredible cash buyer database. You know what's a deal, what is not a deal. You know how big of a deal it is. You've got your proof of funds. You've got your experience. You've got your confidence. You know what to say to real estate professionals. That's what stops us. Let's be honest. We're scared of screwing everything up in front of a real estate agent and them thinking that we're idiots and amateur, right? Well, you are amateur until you build it up. So cut your teeth in with the ugly houses and going directly to the property. Property owners don't know. They're not like watching a 2-hour live show and participating on how to communicate with wholesalers. You know what I mean? Like they don't. We do. So when you go to them and you're having a quality conversation with them, it doesn't matter if you screw up some things. It doesn't matter if you don't know all the terminology. You're going to get a lot less tripped up if you're going directly to property owners and building your confidence and building up your bank account. And then you slowly start building this referral partners. You slowly start getting your proof of funds. You slowly start building your cash buyer database. And then boom, you're confident and you're real. And that's when you start getting all those referrals. Jose, hi Brent. I recently started cold calling. If an agent brings me a potential deal that's off market, do I pay her commission or how does she get paid? It depends. Jose, there's a couple different things here. It depends on if the agent has a relationship with the seller. If the agent already has a listing agreement and they just want to sell it to you because they want to get full commission, the seller's actually paying for it. Now, if your agent goes in and goes, hey, listen, I can get you this deal at this price, but I need you to pay my commission, as long as the spread's there, do it. No problem. You know what I mean? That's not a problem at all. So it just depends on if they already have a listing agreement. If the seller is already committed to paying that agent, then you don't have to. They're already going to get paid from the equity, from the sale, out of the seller's equity. So the seller's going to pay them. You don't have to. But if they're bringing it to you and it's a net offer to the seller, you're either going to have to split that deal or give them a commission. Just depends. Just make sure that the deal is big enough. Make sure that you're locking it up at the right price. Great question.
Hey, to circle back to that question, I just got percentages from my lead manager.
Awesome.
The response rate for cold calling is 38 and then 36% for SMS. 38% for cold calling, meaning conversations.
Yep.
The actual number of conversations.
How many times are you going through the list?
We 2 tops and then we move on.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. What percentage do you reinvest after your first few deals? I put it away, Sean, and I don't even think about it. For real. You need to build up. So there's 4 buckets, and we had this conversation today. You start doing your first deal. That's the first step. Next is get to 6 figures. If you can get to 6 figures, you've built up enough discipline, and you're really making this serious, and you've replaced your income, and you're doing this thing pretty much full time, if not totally full time. Just depends on your situation. The next step is $250,000. Right? Once you get to that $250,000, that's when you start bringing on a lot of people. That's when you start hiring your acquisition, your junior acquisition, your lead manager, your disposition manager, right? And that's what gets you to the $1 million mark and above. You can get to $2 million with 4 people, no doubt about it. But you have to get through those milestones before. What I find, what really stops people's momentum is when they try to hire too fast, right? They try to hire too fast and they haven't got to the point where they've made that 100, 200,000, and then that throws them off. All right. Make sure you guys come back in. I want to put you guys on here. All right. We got some guests today. It's going to be great. But they're doing deals, so they need to get out of this quiet room to go do some deals. How much should you pay your acquisition managers? It depends, Matt. So, do you have that graphic, Matt? Yep. I'll show you right now, Matt. Boom. There you go. Look at me. I got to do the pose, the stick man pose for this. You know what I mean? So there it is. Junior acquisition is $2,500 base plus 2% commission. Acquisition manager is $5,000 base, a $60,000 salary, and 6% commission. And then you can see there the dispo manager gets 5 or 7.5 or 10%, depending on how big of a deal, how much they sell it for, which is really exciting. So there you go. I do a base of 60,000 and 6%. What do you think about purchasing a buyer's list? Don't do it. Total waste of time. I mean, here's the thing, Chino. I'll tell you this. Depending on the cost, test it. You know what I mean? I have never had a student out of thousands of students that has bought a list and had a good experience. I've never bought a list and had a good experience. It's just nobody knows where these are coming from, how they were compiled, all this other stuff. So unless you can go to somebody that is like really crushing it in your market and they want to sell their buyer's list to you, and you know that it's like the real legit thing, and you could test it maybe before you actually purchase it, that'd be awesome. But any experience, Raf?
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
Right.
It's horrible.
Okay.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
No, so one of the things that happens to you when you buy buyer's lists, when you try to send it out, if you're using MailChimp or whatever, you're trying to blast out that email with the property. It comes back undeliverable. There's a lot of invalid emails, and then they'll shut down your account.
Yep.
So it's a pain in the butt to upload the lists, keep it clean, and all that. So, I mean, it just creates a whole wide array of issues on the back end. I mean, it's not sexy, but the right thing is to just build it up with, networking conversations, relationships, sending people over to your opt-in page and that sort of thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
There you go. Nick, hey Brent, can you quickly explain a 1031 exchange? Yes. Have somebody do it for you. No, I mean, basically it's when you buy a property and you sell a property and there's capital gains, you can then, within a certain amount of time, I think it's 90 days, maybe 180 days. I don't do 1031 exchanges. You can buy a similar property, right? Does it have to be similar or any property?
Yeah, no, it's got to be equal value.
Or more, right?
Yeah, or any transfers over.
Yeah. So you're buying another property. It's like think of Monopoly when you have the green houses and then you trade those in for the red hotel. You do that so it pushes the can down the road for your tax liability. But let me explain something to you. You're gonna get taxed. They tax you when you die. They tax you for everything. We get taxed so many times, right? And that's fine. Right, that's the rent we paid to live in this country, right, and have all the things. Property taxes pay for everything locally. You know what I mean? Federal taxes, pays for a lot of different things. But basically, it's just people trying to push their tax liability down the road and not have to pay capital gains tax on any profits that they received from buying and selling a piece of property, and so then they put it into another property. It'd be interesting to understand the context of this, Nick. Maybe you're dealing with somebody that wants to sell in 1031, and maybe that's holding them back from making the decision for you to get it locked up. That's typically what we find is we're talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, I want to sell, but I got to find another property for a 1031 exchange. And then it takes forever. So shorten the timeline. And see if they really want to sell this property and if they want to sell it at the height. Remember right now, guys, you have to communicate wildly. Do you want to take advantage of the top of the market or are you going to sell it on the downslide? Right? That's the conversation. Tony, football. What do you think about hiring freelancers to get a lead list? Is that them pulling lists for you or is that them like making calls for you? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by freelancer, Tony. To get a lead list, I mean, you can download that. I mean, maybe freelancers to do your driving for dollars. I mean, you could hire a 12-year-old, they'll call it 14-year-old, to virtually drive for dollars with Deal Machine. You know what I mean? You got Deal Machine. They've got right on. You pull it up on your computer. You can virtually drive for dollars and pick the ugliest houses based on Google Maps. Right? We have a ton of trading at training on that at ttpinsider.com. So ttpinsider.com. Make sure that you check that out, guys. It's got all the resources you need. It's incredible. It's incredible. TTP Insider is bananas. So check that out. Here we go. Brent, you told me last week to give you an update on my first call. Well, I made 10 calls. There you go, Dustin. That first day, and have 2 follow-up calls. One of them sound really motivated, so I'll keep you updated. TTP. That's right, Dustin. That is amazing. Keep that going. Let's ring the bell for Dustin, just for taking action, getting out there, being brave. I love it.
You see that stacking effect on prospecting?
Huh?
You see that stacking effect on prospecting? Yeah, it's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
You're going to have a bunch of stuff to work on if you go out there and prospect.
You're going to win. Brian, what factors do you consider when deciding your assignment fee? How do you determine what you make on each deal? As much as possible. Right? I mean, as much as possible, Brian. So here's the thing. You need to make sure that it's a good deal. You need to make sure that there's enough meat on the bone. You need to understand what your cash buyers are looking for and how do they recognize potential with this deal. That's the levels to this game, Brian, is once you have more cash buyers and have more conversation and more experience, you understand the different levels of potential, of recognizing potential. You might see this deal as a fix and flip, but somebody else sees this as a burr into an Airbnb that's going to be a cash cow for them, and so they're willing to pay more for those properties. So you need to understand, what are people's exit strategies? What are they doing with these properties, right? And so we'll look at it, and we just do a traditional We assume that they want at least 10%. Let me break it down real quick, and then we're going to have Todd Toback on here. He's going to blow your guys' minds. Remember, you want, and this is a breakdown real quick of, and don't get into the weeds here, guys. I know, just don't get into the weeds. Fixed up value, ARV, right? ARV equals beautiful. When the house is beautiful, this is what ARV is. You are comparing beautiful houses when they are totally fixed up and they look gorgeous and they're flipped and they're sold to somebody that's going to be an end buyer on these properties. What will it sell for? Well, let's say it'll sell for $300,000. Ref, can you get your calculator out for me, just so that I don't screw this? So the ARV is here, right? Well, right off the bat, you want to subtract 6% for closing costs. Okay? Closing costs. Right off the bat, you want to take 10% off for profit for your investors. This is where they want to be. This is where they want to live. Now, listen. This is where everybody gets mad at me, and everybody that lives in areas that have smaller price points go, I can't sell this $90,000 fixed up house and they only make $9,000. It doesn't make any sense. You're right. You are absolutely right. There has to be a $20,000 minimum. Minimum. So which one is bigger? Is 10% or 20,000? Whichever one is bigger is the one that you use, guys. Okay? Now this is for now. Will this change? Maybe. Maybe shifts in markets, the investors are going to be a little bit tighter. But right now, there's so much competition because they're making so much money when we sell these deals to them and they flip, they're making fortunes. So if you're making fortunes, guess what happens with your fix and flippers or your buy and hold people? They want to make more fortunes. right? And more people come into it, and more people start doing it, and more people start seeing this as a side hustle. More people start watching HGTV and all these other shows. They watch Pace and Jamil on A&E, and they're like, oh, I'm so inspired. I'm going to flip houses. I'm going to be creative. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to make a ton of money. I'm going to make an extra 100,000 this year. So more competition, more buyers come in, more buyers come in. If this starts getting wiggly because of inflation or interest rates or just the general economy, whatever it is, we'll adjust. But for now, this is what you got to use. 10% profit, 20,000 minimum for those properties that are under 200,000. Okay?
Total, yeah.
This is where everybody slips up. This is where everybody slips up. They go, oh yeah, Brent said do this, because what this really means is times 84%. These two equal 16%. You take it off the top, it's 84%. So I take this amount here times 0.84, and that's how much, Raf?
I had done the total, so that's the total is $232,000.
232.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a total, yeah. That's minus the 20K. Your first question is 252.
So they got a 30,000. They got that. So 300,000 times 0.84 is 232.
252.
252. That's what I thought. Okay. 252. Now you subtract the repairs. Repairs are gone, right? Say it's $50,000 in repairs. Okay. Now you're at 202. That's what you sell it at. Then you go, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, I make what you want to make on these deals is at least 10%. So maybe it's a $20,000 deal. You got to lock this up at 182. If you're in my business, we'd lock this up at 152. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a $51,000 average. But we also go after higher priced properties. But does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, good. So that's how you determine how much you make on it, because you find out, okay, what do I think that an investor is going to buy this at based on its condition and based on the profit that they want to make. And I'm telling you, people, there are people that will have 30,000. That $30,000 profit that's built in there, people love that all day long. All day long. And they get to fix up the house, and they get to have a lot of pride for it and all that. So there you go. How do you comp a fire damaged property? Well, Preston, a couple different things. I highly suggest you follow Elijah Rubin and talk to him. He is the fire damage king and lives here in Phoenix, good friend. Elijah is phenomenal at them. And you got to see how far into the insurance process they are, because remember, they're going to get paid by the insurance company already. And most people aren't going to put that money back into that property to fix it up again. They'll just go buy something else. So you got to see how much repairs that property needs. Typically, fires happen where? In the kitchen. Where's the most expensive place to remodel in a house? The kitchen, right? So typically, if you look at it, how many square feet of this property was destroyed? And it's anywhere from $125 to $150 a square foot to replace that. So that should help you out there. $125 to $150 a square foot on fire damage properties. I talked to Todd Toback yesterday, and I said, I really wanted to talk about how do you make sure when you lock up a deal with the seller, they don't back out, right? They don't back out of the deal. They're not, they're stuck in there, right? They're really committed, and they understand when they sign that purchase agreement that it is a legally binding agreement. Like if they breach that contract, there's going to be consequences to that. But I don't like the strategy of putting memorandums on properties all the time or as a default. It causes a lot of mess. It slows down your business, and it just doesn't feel good earning income off of a memorandum of sale. And if you've never heard of that, basically, you can cloud the title. Once you have a purchase agreement, you can have a memorandum, as long as it's in the writing, that you can put a memorandum on that property and the seller knows you can do it, you can put a memorandum on there, and it stops them from selling it to anybody else because they have to pay off your memorandum to be able to do that. And sometimes it works if the seller's real, kind of wiggly, or they're just they're not being honest with you. You feel like they're like something, they're keeping something from you. You can do it, but I would not use it on a regular basis. I think I've done 2 of them and gotten paid on 1 of them, and it was a really, really unique situation. So, are we still waiting to get Todd in?
Yeah.
Okay.
He
All right.
confirmed he got the link.
Okay, good. How to value commercial residential. Raphael, this is your bread and butter here, Brett.
How to value commercial residential mixed use. So commercial residential, I mean, if you're talking 4 units, like a multifamily of 4 or less, it's still residential. So we'll try to go off of the comps. When you're talking commercial, it gets a little bit more complicated because the use has a lot to do with it. So it can be the same size building, as the next, but if the use is different, that's going to impact the price point. So you really want to go off of profits and cap rates. So I mean, it's kind of like a rabbit hole conversation. But for example, we'll look for a 5%.
I assume they're a lot of places, maybe New Jersey too as well. You've got commercial building like a storefront, and then people live above it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think with those, you could probably find comps.
Yeah.
Comps will probably be your best bet there, unless the commercial is zoned for something that is very rare.
Right.
And only certain businesses can go in there, right?
One of the biggest things to consider with commercial too is that when we're wholesaling a residential property, we don't buy of what it could be, right? We don't buy based on, okay, it could be a 4-bed instead of a 3. If we had another room, we don't buy like that. In commercial, it's different. I mean, a lot of people buy based on this, the stipulation of what it could be, what it could become. Okay, cool. It's like, for example, you have hotels.
Yep.
You have, we just got a property, and I need to look at numbers, but it's a 91-unit hotel. But if that thing can be converted
into apartments,
I mean, boom. I mean, that, you know what I mean? That'll skyrocket that, that potential deal. So commercial is just, you have to look at it through different eyes. Yeah, you can use cap rates if you're selling exactly what's on there. But also consider what you're looking at. What can it be based on the zoning, based on the area that it's in? Is it an up and coming area? I mean, that's gonna impact the value that it's gonna have for that end buyer. Awesome.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of commercial / residential here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
How do you comp and value land? Yeah, great question. So typically, we'll go on the board here while Todd's jumping on.
I like it. There's a lot of comping questions today.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I love it. So land, you want to look at, first of all, do not go out there and do rural land in the middle of nowhere if you're just getting started. It's okay, but the deals are really small. It's it's very easy to lock up deals that are real rural. I've gotten free land. They're like, listen, if you just pay my back taxes, or if you just are, let me sign this deed over to you and you be responsible for the back taxes, right? So I've gotten free land before, but then you sell it and you make like $400, and it's like a lot of effort. So land, you want to make sure it's in town, okay? Make sure it's in a neighborhood, an established neighborhood, and if it's at let's just say a brand new house sells for $300,000 again, or then you want to be at about 20%. That's what a builder's going to, that's what they're going to budget. So they're going to want to be at about $60,000 for that land, maybe less now because construction and labor costs have gone up. So this could be all the way down to 15 or 10%. At this point, just depends on this price point. If this price point is a lot higher, then you could push it here. But if it's a lot lower, you got to go lower on the percentage. All right. So 10% of that. So they would want to buy it at 30,000, and then you'd be under that. So you'd be whatever, 10. Got it? So 10%. 10% if it's under 300,000. If it's over 300,000, 20%. Okay. Todd Toback's in the house. We got him. Let's get him live on here. Let's make sure that we've got all of our stuff set up. And boom, Todd, can you hear me?
I can. What's going on, my man?
I am so excited to have you on here. You are the best of the best of the best. You have trained everybody. You've trained the top companies around the country on how to make sure that they get deals and close these deals and make sure that the sellers get to the finish line. So how do we make sure that when we lock up a deal with a seller, they actually stay in this deal?
Well, great question, Brent. First of all, real happy to be on the show today. And you know, if it's okay, I'd like to really dig into the psychology of where a new real estate investor is at.
Yep.
You know, because you may be more advanced listening to this, or you might be just brand new. And so I don't know about you, Brent, but when I felt like I was locking up this first deal, I felt like almost like I was doing something wrong, right? Like, you know, I was going to be found out, or this was like, you know, like the deal was going to fall apart, you know, in every way, shape, or form. And I was so nervous. And, you know, I remember like keeping, you know, things from the seller that necessarily, that would have helped me. For example, you know, showing the property to a bunch of people. I was so scared that a buyer was going to come by and, you know, the seller was going to see them and, you know, go to them direct, right? And say, I'm not doing business with you. Or I was scared that they were going to back out and they'd be like, oh, who are these people, you know, at the property? And I was going to lose my deal, right? I was going to lose my precious $30,000 or $40,000 deal. And I'm here to tell you that that is not the case, right? That what you do and what you say immediately after getting that contract signed will make or break you. And it's not what you think. It's not what you think. You know, it's interesting. Let me tell you the story really quick, and this will leave a really good backstory. So a couple of years ago, I built a pool in my backyard. And I don't know about you, but my wife does not like construction. She doesn't like, you know, people over the house. She doesn't like chaos and, you know, just the mess. Well, she was really stressing out about it. And long story short, the contractor said, hey, listen, you know, this is going to be totally nuts. Everyone's going to be here. There's going to be like 15 places you're not going to be able to get in. You're not going to be able to get out. You know, there's going to be dirt everywhere and it's a giant mess. But after 8 weeks, this is going to be like the best pool known to man, right? And previously, my wife has had some really bad, we've had bad experiences with contractors and getting them to stay on path. And, you know, lots of like, I can't believe he did this and I can't believe he did that. Well, long story short, this guy set the stage, Brent. And these guys came and this was more chaos than I'd ever seen at my property. I mean, we couldn't even get in or out. There was dirt everywhere. There were dozens of people there. And the pool got done in 8 weeks. And my wife never complained once. And she had a big, huge, giant smile on her face. By the way, Brent, are you there? I just lost you on camera.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to feature you as you're telling your story.
That's cool. So, you know, so long story short, what's the moral of the story, right? It's all about anchoring the seller, setting very, very, very clear expectations. And so what does that actually look like? Okay. By the way, at the end of this video, I actually have a really amazing script that I use to talk to sellers.
Love it.
After you lock up the contract. And I'm going to show you a secret way to actually get that for free at the end of the video, if that's okay, Brent.
Love it.
So what do you do? Well, the first thing that I do with a seller is when you get that contract signed, you always want to do a small pull away, something that we talk about in the no limit selling system, right? We're never pushy. We're always pulling away and moving away from the seller. So as the seller signed, we always say, Mr. Seller, by the way, I just want to make sure, right, that this is exactly what you want to do. I do want to make aware that you can fix the property up and list it. And, you know, maybe that you can rent it. And there's absolutely no pressure here whatsoever. I mean, I'd love to be able to buy your house, but I want to let you know, I want to do the best thing for you. So just want to make sure this is what you want to do. Now, most investors, they're scared to ask this question, right? Why? Because they're scared of the answer, right? They're scared of the answer. So let me tell you, one of two things is going to happen. Either one, you're going to pull away and the seller's going to say, no, of course I want to do the deal, right? You know, like, you know, they're going to give you like a weird look, like, what are we doing here? You know, like, of course. And they're going to sign the agreement and they're going to, you know, give you this awkward stare and say, no, of course, and sign it. And you're going to move on to closing, which is the first part. Or, okay, even better, now they say something that they didn't tell you before. if there was any objection or another buyer or another decision maker, or maybe they're having cold feet, this right here is going to make it boil up to the top.
Yeah.
Now I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, your deal's going to stick, right? But if you're getting like some weird Spidey vibes there, right? And if you're a wholesaler, you know, you can tell, right? If you're meeting with a seller and they signing the contract, but something's not just right, right? I just love to do this because they're going to give you an objection, which now you can handle.
Yep.
Right? And you want to be handled. Well, I wanted to get more for the property. Well, I wanted more time to move out. Well, you know, I'm not 100% sure on how this title process works. Can you explain it to me? All of these things, which now you can attack, but you must know your enemy to be able to defeat it. And I don't mean the seller is the enemy, right? The objection.
Their objections.
The
Yeah.
objection is the enemy. And so if you don't know that, if you don't flush that out, right, you're going to be, you know, at home at night, be like, what about my contract? What about my contract? What about my contract? You know, and it's going to be just completely, you know, up in the air. So that's my first recommendation, Brent.
Pull out the objections.
Is pull out the objections.
You got to pull them out.
Got to pull them out. Okay, so now that's the
now.
first.
Are you doing it, Todd? Are you doing that on the appointment? You're doing it like what if you send them, you know, a DocuSign and they're you know what I mean? You're doing it virtually, or they just can't meet with you or whatever else. How do you pull this out of them while you're in the like a virtual situation?
Sure. So I like to do 2 things, right? So if this is in person, that you use that method, right? If you're on the phone, right, I try to have them sign the DocuSign when you're on the phone, right? You want to keep that line tight. Oh, you know, look, you may be on this line saying, oh, I sent a DocuSign, I got it back. And I understand that. But if possible, keep them on the phone, have them pull up the DocuSign, have them read it. Oh yeah, it looks good, blah, blah, blah. And say that same thing on the phone.
Yeah.
Right. And so that will also get there. The third, which is the hybrid, which is one of my favorite, if you're locking up deals normally, is get a notary out there.
Yeah.
Right? Get a notary out there and have the notary train and say, hey, look, if there are any issues, put me on speakerphone. Right. And if the notary senses anything, right, then just to pull that out. But using a notary also is another method to make this stick. It's going to add another layer of legitimacy to closing your deals, Brent. Right. So what I would recommend is, again, keep that line tight. You can ask the question over the phone. And then if you've got a notary there in person, you could be there on speaker just in case you're trying to lock it up there. Again, you don't have to. You know, the deals can be locked up without these, but these are just small little tweaks that if you do them, greatly enhance the chance that your deal is going to stick.
What happens when you get it locked up, Todd, and then you're trying to communicate with them, title's trying to communicate with them, and then they're still not responding? You know what I mean? They're just kind of like they're sticking their head back in the sand. This very typical for these, you know, these leads and these deals is, you know, they're not really good at like going through all the processes to get it done. So you have to handhold them a little bit, but then they don't answer. Like, what do we do?
Sure. So that was the first step. Now we're on the second step. Okay. So the next step is you have to anchor them, right, to get this done, right? And say, Mr. Seller, I'll tell you what, like I promised, this is going to be a very easy and seamless transition process, but we're going to do everything at once. So there's basically going to be a lot of energy. You're going to see a lot of activity, but I also need your participation, Mr. Seller. All right.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up an inspection at Thursday at 10 o'clock. Okay. Let's pretend like today's a Saturday. Right?
Yeah.
You want to give it 5 days. And we're going to do everything at once. And so you're just like my wife and the contractor and the trucks, right? All of a sudden, because you set this up, right, and you're going to keep this promise, right, they're going to love all the activity now that you see. So it's going to be a little bit of chaos, but only for this 1 hour.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm going to have my property inspector there. Okay. I may have some of my real estate agents and I may even have some of my buyers here, right? Because I'm going to start marketing the property, right? Plant that in there. Anchor it. Do not be scared of that, especially if you're doing the feeding frenzy method. Okay. Again, if you're worried about this, I'll show you a free way to actually get the script that we use with Talking to Motivated Sellers here at the end of this. But what you want to do here, Brent, is set them up for that. Then say, listen, oh, so here's the phone number of title. Here's the email. Okay. They may reach out to you, but what I would do is you need to reach out to them immediately as possible, as fast as humanly possible, right? To get the paperwork going, right? It's super easy. They'll do it all for you. They'll just tell you where to sign, right? But it's make sure that you participate with them and that you're here on Thursday at 12 o'clock. Did I say Thursday at 12?
Yep.
Yeah. So Thursday at 12, right? And then you have the title company and then you rush that through. Now, what you want to do at that point is the day before the inspection, you just text the seller, hey, just confirming Thursday at 2. A little trick here, by the way. And I know that you're talking about, because sometimes you get squirrely sellers, and I totally get that, right? So in general, I think we can address more to how to deal with a squirrely seller here in a minute. But this is just the typical process I use to anchor that seller. But here's a total ninja trick. I'm a big believer of getting a lot of competition of a property. This is how you get big, fat, massive, juicy deals, right? There are deals that I thought I was going to make 25 and we made 60 because of this. And so you may be thinking, Todd, I do not want 15 buyers at my property. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose the freaking deal. If you do what I'm telling you to do, it'll actually make the seller more confident in your ability to close. I know that sounds crazy, right? But it is 100% true. 100% true. So what do we do? Now, here's a little trick is what we do is we actually have the buyers arrive. This is total ninja right here at 11:20, right? 11:30. We have the inspector roll up though, right? He's got his fancy car or, and the little car magnet on the side that says, Billy Joe's Inspections, right? And he's got a shirt. He walks in and starts inspecting the property. The seller's now blood pressure starts to go up. And he's following the inspector. She's following the inspector like oh no, that's just XYZ. Don't worry about that, right? Or oh no, that's that's not mold. That's just dirt, And they become so preoccupied with the inspector, right? That by the time the buyers arrive at 11:30, right? They're like just so focused on this person, right? And they're just totally like, and the buyer's like, whatever, right? You also kept your promise. You've got the professional there. It's sticky there, right? And then just call the seller and say, great, everything's good, Mr. Seller. Just a reminder, get your paperwork in, okay? And get it done. Now, a couple of things that you need to be aware besides using that script that we talk about. Your title company, you've got to train them, right? You absolutely have to train your. So if all of a sudden you have to find yourself to always trying to save the deal with the seller or resell the deal with the seller, or they're not calling the seller, you've got to train them and say, look, you've got to be in contact here, right? They have to see you as the neutral front-facing party that's going to close this transaction.
Fast too.
Fast, right?
Yeah.
And so if all of a sudden they feel like you're not contacting them, right, or you're kind of leaving this hanging, right, we're going to lose deals. And you know what that means to you, Mr. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Title Company? It means that, hey, you're going to do all this work and this deal's going to fall out of escrow. No one's going to get paid or title, right? And I can't have my business here anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So most of them will get in line and really, really stay engaged. But I can tell you over time, they tend to loosen up. So you've got to bring it back, right? You've got to bring it back. Now, again,
especially when you give them a ton of deals.
Especially if you get them a ton of deals.
Yeah, when they get super busy and then you start referring them to your friends and everybody that, right? They start getting busy. Then all of a sudden you're like, wait, the processes aren't as tight as they used to be.
They weren't as tight as it used to be. So it's really important to hold that accountability there, right? And you're going to notice, I've seen it. Look, we've been, got 3 in escrow right now. And we definitely see they'll start to come off. So here's a small companies on their toes by having at least a second one to make sure that they're, and this isn't about title companies, but just to make sure that your first title company is on their toes. They know they're not the only game in town. Okay. So let's go back to the squirrely seller. Is that okay, Brent?
Yep.
And again, make sure you hang out to the back and we're going to tell you how to get a copy of that script that we use. Okay. When talking to the sellers after you get the deal signed. So if you have a squirrely seller, some of them are, they just need a little kick in the pants, right? And they will get to the title and they need to get it done. But at some point, you may have somebody who just starts to ghost you. And so my recommendation here is if you did everything here is do the opposite again, what most people want to do. And the first thing they would say is, hey, how come you're not going to escrow or threaten legal action? And I wouldn't recommend that because that's just going to push them farther away.
That's what I just said. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So what I would do is I would say, hey, Mr. Seller, look, it seemed like you wanted to do this deal, right? If for any reason, if you're looking to cancel, right, just can you let me know? Can you call me just so, we're not wasting our time here, right? And you call them and send a text and just say, hey, if I'm wrong, let me know. Or I'll say, did I do something, right? And just, say no harm either way. Send a phone call, send a text, send a voicemail. And then if that doesn't work, send a last pull away video, right? I have my acquisition specialist do record a video on their phone and then send it. And that will either get a response like, hey, I want to cancel the deal. Or, hey, I'm sorry, I'm in the hospital, I'm traveling, my sister, my aunt, my brother, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
But it's really funny. I'm not sure if we could do this, Brent, but we actually have a deal right now. Same exact thing, right? And the lady would not order the payoff right on it. So my team got stuck. Someone sent me on the team, they sent me a screenshot because they asked me for some coaching of the actual dialogue that we sent them, right? So if you want, I'll send that to you. Maybe, I don't know if you could put a link to it or not.
Yeah.
But, it said, hey, listen, like if you don't want to sell, absolutely, no problem. Let me know. But is this a paperwork issue or is this a not wanting to sell issue? Right. So you ask the really, really tough question. Don't be scared of the answer. And she's like, no, it's actually a paperwork issue. So then because we knew it was a paperwork issue, then we laid out a plan to attack that versus trying to resell them on selling to us. Because a lot of people, they start handling an objection, which is not an objection, right? They start trying to negotiate against themselves and start coming up on price. And that's just a giant mess. So make sure you understand what you're up against before you try to solve the objection.
Yep. Love it. What's that script? Let's get it to him, Todd. Let's get him the meat and potatoes of this thing.
So anyway, we talked about our no limit selling system,
Yep.
Brent, right? It's closed motivated sellers.
This is what I have every single one of my acquisition managers. Ryan's been through it. Chad's been through it. It was huge building their foundation coming in from outside industries. Chad was door knocking, selling solar, and Ryan was with Grand Canyon University selling college. And before that, a police officer. So they had nothing to go off of besides, being around us and going. And I was like, first, you got to go through Todd's program here. And I've done that with everybody. And all my other acquisition managers implemented in their businesses, and they all have successful businesses. And listen, guys, this is the foundation. This is going to give you a lot of confidence and save you a lot of time on how to convert. The conversion part of this business is what Todd is just the master at.
Right. So convert wholesale deals. If you go to that link right there, right, this is the exact link that the training system that we used. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, right? When Brent was first building his team. I mean, I remember when we talked, Brent was literally, he practices what he preaches. He's got a list of all his sellers and he's cold calling, right, in the sun underneath umbrella and started to hire a team. We trained him using the no limit selling system.
That's right.
So if you go to convert wholesale deals, you can actually purchase the system. The price is embarrassing for anyone who purchases through that link. Okay. I'll send you that script for free. Okay.
Awesome.
I'll send you that script for free. If you purchase that script, by the way, I actually reserve for my next level wholesaling students who have paid a minimum of 15,000 for some of these proprietary scripts that I say for more advanced people. Yeah. Right. So only for your people, Brent, you are just so amazing and you just give a ton of value. I'm just so inspired by it. So that's convertwholesaledeals.com. If you want to invest in the system, I'll give you that script.
And we'll put a link in the comments here right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, again, if you're like, hey, I don't have the money or I don't have to invest, which I highly suggest you do. I do have some stuff on my podcast, which does go into that a little bit more detail. You're going to have to dig and put it together. But that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Todd, you're the absolute best. I got to open this up to some more questions, but thank you so much. Love you. And Yeah, incredible. Lock them in, right? Really understand, really set the future expectations, pull out all the objections, and make sure that your title company is really sinking their claws into the transaction so it goes faster. Love it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is if you're sensing resistance, right?
Yeah.
Attack it.
Yeah.
And I want to remember to hit it between the eyes. If you all of a sudden feel it, one of the things I'll just say, and I think this will really help you grow. Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm sensing some uneasiness here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's that all about? Right.
Love it.
And just like boom, hit them right between the eyes, baby. And you're gonna find out quick.
Love it. Thank you, Todd. You're the best.
Right.
Convert wholesale deals, guys. It is in there. Get it going. Michael Espinoza got his second contract signed in 3 weeks. Come on. Congratulations, Michael. That reminds me of you guys. Come on. Come on up, you guys. Yeah, come in. Is this thing working? Yeah. All right, come here. Got some guests in from New Jersey. Introduce yourselves, guys. Come on. Introduce yourselves. Let everybody know. We're going to answer some questions together.
Hey, my name is Nasheed Allen.
Get it right in the microphone. There it is. Yep. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Ewan Slazima.
There it is.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Antonio Alicea.
Where are you guys from?
New Jersey.
And how many deals you got pending right now?
4.
4 deals pending. Where'd you lock up did you lock up the deal or did you do the price negotiation yesterday when you touched down in Phoenix?
The reduction of price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So explain that story real quick.
So it was.
So Nasheed's going to be on the podcast today. It's going to be absolutely incredible. His story is incredible, but it's just fantastic. What happened when you got off the plane?
Yeah. So we locked the deal up at 115. It's a 4-plex. It needs a whole gut job renovation in Elmer, New Jersey. Buyers started balking at the price immediately. Oh man, I can't pay that price. I can't pay that price. And he like, listen, all we can do is 100. So I knew I had to get the seller down a nice amount because we were at 115. But he was motivated. I think it was a lot harder it was a lot easier than I'm making it seem.
Yeah.
He did most of the work. Once I talked to him and just let him know where we stood at, he called me back in an hour and said, yeah, we're going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
He really needed to get rid of the property. We found a buyer that's going to really buy it, so we helped him solve his issue.
Love it.
So
Why was he selling it? What was the motivation?
it's dilapidated. And he doesn't
Vacant?
have
Yeah, it's
vacant.
vacant.
Dilapidated.
Beat up.
Yeah, it's beat up.
Ugly
down.
houses.
Ugly
Yeah,
house.
beat down,
It
beat
needs
down.
needs at least over over to 200,000 work.
And how old are you?
I'm 22.
And what are you doing right now?
I'm a college basketball player.
What? Point guard.
Point guard, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Where at?
Delaware Valley, Doylestown. PA.
And you're playing college basketball. You're going to college and you're doing wholesaling.
Yeah.
Which do you like best? No. Oh, I know.
Both,
Yeah.
Both. Like I know my mom, she's always like plan A, plan A, plan A. And honestly, they're both plan A
Right.
for me at
Yeah.
this point. So
Well, you're getting your education, you're playing basketball, and you're learning how to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What have you learned so far?
that is not easy, and you got to really grind.
That's
and
it.
You got to be consistent. That's really it. If
Yeah.
you're not consistent, then it's not going to work out.
That's it.
Especially with follow-ups too.
Mhm.
Everything. So
And are you doing mostly follow-up? You doing mostly calls? What's your role in the business?
well, that's what we're doing now. So I'm more like this disposition guy now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Selling deals.
Yeah.
So you're talking to cash buyers?
Yeah.
Aren't you intimidated?
Nah, not really.
No?
Nah.
That's his thing.
That's
honestly.
my thing.
That's where he
yeah.
shines at
I love
the
to
most.
connect with them.
Why are you confident talking to people that have millions of dollars?
Cause I see myself in their shoes one day, so why not talk to them? You feel me?
I love it. I love it. That's it.
Yeah.
And listen, it really is that certainty and that likability. Yeah, get close to the microphone just so that people can people hear okay?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, good. It's a certainty and likability, right? And you got both of those, and then it's just getting the experience in there. And once you get the experience with that certainty and likability, you're unstoppable. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah.
Well, I'm like pacing that way. I hate talking to buyers.
Right.
I don't deal with them. I don't talk to them.
Sure.
I don't know why I can't connect with them, but I love helping people. So I'm more of the acquisition guy, really setting appointments and closing the deals and negotiating the contracts.
You like the deals?
Yeah, I like to really.
Me too.
negotiate
I was
them.
terrible at dispo. I was like, oh yeah,
I'm
you want it
hard.
for this? I'll sell it to you for this. Yeah, I don't want to like bid this up. I want to keep a good relationship. I just want to be happy with everybody. And then I bring in Billy Bell, my former disposition manager, now Jeremy, and they just got like ice water in their veins. They don't care. They're going to bid that thing all the way up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's really important.
He does an awesome job at that.
Yeah, he does a phenomenal.
It was a property that we had with Nas was like, yo, I think we should just list it for $45.99. I'm like, nah, put that thing at $55.
Nice.
nah.
You sell it?
Yeah, we sold it for $60. Remember that?
Yeah.
You got to push it. You got to push it. Listen, if it is a seller's market, you become the seller. You got to push those values. You got to push to get as much as possible.
Yeah, that was the transition period for me though, understanding that we were in a different market and that you can sell deals for a lot more. And even in depressed markets where crime is even happening, that you can get a lot more for properties right now.
Sure.
People are paying.
People are buying.
It's crazy.
So New Jersey, you're in New Jersey, you're in Philadelphia.
Yep.
You're in what other markets?
Baltimore and Chicago.
Baltimore and Chicago?
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, we sprinkle around a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah, well, we're tempering off now from dealing with Baltimore and Chicago and just mainly focusing on Jersey and Philadelphia properties. And the Philadelphia properties are tough, man. They come with a lot of title issues and a lot of tax issues.
Really?
So yeah, they're tough deals.
Property taxes?
Property taxes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because up on the East Coast, in certain places, they'll let property taxes go for 10 years.
Right.
And just keep charging the owner. Like, the next thing you know, they own $100,000 in taxes.
The
like,
Salem story.
Oh, really?
Tell me
Got
the Salem story.
Oh, man, that's a long story.
Give me the short version.
The short version is the guy, he has
30.
about 60 something properties, I think, when I first met him.
Yep.
He's a real tire kicker. And he owns the properties. He's a real tire kicker because he can't find nobody that's willing to take on the debt in a shitty area and buy those properties from him. So those ones that were
Because
great.
of property taxes?
Yeah, he owed like $1 million.
Yeah.
From just all these property taxes, and they just, I don't know. He owed a lot of money. And the one we were just trying to buy from, he breaking them down in packages and selling them, and it was 8 of them. He owed like 130, and the properties were even worth that. Like,
right. So what'd you do?
And I took a buyer there, man. The buyer ran. I never had a buyer do this to me in my life. The buyer literally just left the appointment. Like, he said, "Bro, I gotta go."
and that buyer didn't even talk to us. He blocked us.
Yo, like he literally left.
He's just like, because he think like
He like, yo,
we're
bro,
not serious
he
people.
like, yo.
We wasted
But I
time.
explained to him the deal. I told him that it was in a depressed market. Everyone knows where Salem is in New Jersey. It's a very depressed market. It can come up, and hopefully in the next couple of years they'll do something to raise that market. But it's just a depressed market currently. And I explained to him all that. I thought that we had that. I've never talked to that guy again because if a buyer reacts like that,
get rid of him.
It's trash.
Yeah,
it's nothing to do with it.
It's fine. Listen, there's a lot of people out there.
That was bad right there.
There's plenty of buyers.
Yeah.
We have thousands of buyers. One of them doesn't want to do business with us.
Okay.
See ya.
It's okay.
See ya.
It's a blessing talking.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, good. Well, thank you. Look forward to make sure that you guys see the podcast. It's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Thanks for being on here. All right. Let's get to some questions. All right. We're going to bring people on live now. Is it out and about? Are people able to get backstage and turn their cameras on and ask some questions? Let's do that and start opening these up. If we have any other questions, let me know. Let's get them up there and keep this thing going. We've got another 25 minutes, another 30 minutes.
Get in there, people, with your questions.
There you go.
Links in the comments.
Links. Hey guys, the link is in the comments. If you want to jump on live with me and get your question answered or celebrate a success, would love to do that as well. All right.
I'll just put a regular one up so people get it.
Yeah. Locked up another house completely virtually, helping another wholesaler get their first deal. John Johnson crushing it. Great job, John. Here we go. That is awesome. Congratulations. Let everybody know which markets you're in, John Johnson. Also, I don't know if you could put a link to your Discord or whatever else it is, but I know that you guys are doing amazing things in your Discord. So we want to celebrate you and connect with you. So there we go. Oh, we got to get Vasily in here. He's on all the time, right? Yeah. There he is. Let's get him on. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm all right. I have a quick question. How are we able to find Billy Bell?
Billy, yeah, it is tough to find Billy Bell. Instagram, Billy Bell is pretty active on Instagram, so send him a DM. Also, we'll post his Instagram on the show here. What do you want to talk to Billy about?
No, I'm saying, how were you able to find him?
Oh, how was I? Sorry. Okay. I was confused. So Billy went to, it was a networking event, and it was a Bigger Pockets networking event. And the guy that organized it, I had told him, anybody that runs the groups, you want to have conversations with them and say, hey, listen, I'm hiring. If you have anybody that would be a good referral, I'd love to talk to them. And so, yeah, it was a referral from the guy that was running the Bigger Pockets group. And so he had a job and wanted to get into real estate investing, but was doing really well at his job. So it took some convincing, and had to give him a base salary of $2,500 a month and then build from there. And he was my acquisition manager at first and then became a disposition manager. So, yeah, that's how I found him. What are you doing?
Cool.
Where are you at right now? You working?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Electrician.
Nice.
Journeyman electrician. Just driving about 2 hours a day to work. So
In Sacramento?
no, I live in Sacramento, but I drive to the Bay Area.
How's business?
Just still trying to get a deal going. Deal
What's stopping you?
I guess myself. I
Right.
haven't been consistent.
That's it. So how are
Yeah.
you, what are you going to do about consistent? I mean, do you have somebody that's consistent that's going to, really cheerlead you on and really do the work with you and kind of do it parallel? Do you have anybody like that?
No, my wife has been pushing me, so that's good.
That's good. Find somebody in your market or find somebody somebody connect, guys. Somebody connect here and get squatted up, right? So that you guys are both taking action. Go ahead, Ref.
Well, Vasily's already doing the driving, right? Are you compiling addresses as you're going
Yes,
through?
sir.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Yep,
good
yep.
stuff.
Good.
Yeah, double dip, man. Anytime you can double dip, if you have a full-time job, anytime you can double dip to help your wholesale business, find ways of doing that. Yeah. Good stuff, man.
And find people to hang out with that aren't electricians.
Yeah.
All right. You know what I mean? Find people that are doing this business and it's going to be so much better. That's the missing piece. I'm telling you, you want to be consistent, have somebody else that's going to be doing it as well. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Wonderful to put a face. All right. Julian, what's going on?
Hi, it's an honor to meet you.
You too. Where are you where are you calling from?
Phoenix Library downtown.
Nice. Just down the
Oh,
street.
sweet.
All right.
Yeah.
What are you doing
Yeah.
at the library?
I just looked up some addresses on the county assessor's website and doing some marketing right now.
Okay. What kind of marketing?
Pretty niche, just wholesaling. I found a lot of vacant properties. That actually was my question. So I've been door knocking the properties where the mail is supposed to go to. I'm doing cold calling, pretty much everything that a wholesaler is supposed to be doing, but I'm having difficulty getting back word from them. So what would be your advice if you hit the pinnacle of all of the things that you're supposed to and still have no leads?
So you're calling them? And how many people have you talked to?
Maybe 3. They're either random phone numbers that are from police
Are you
stations.
hand dialing, Julian?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So it's going to take a lot longer if you're hand dialing, right? I would highly suggest you get as much thousands of addresses in there and put it into a dialer so it does most of the work for you and you leverage. And then you need to talk to 200, brother. You know what I mean? It's you talk to 200, 180 of them are going to reject you. 19 of them are going to be, yes, that's awesome. I do want to sell, but they're not going to do business with you, and one will. So just keep that 200 number in your mind and get there as fast as possible. Now, listen, if you don't have the budget for a dialer, if you don't have that, find somebody in here that like you can be like, hey, listen, can I leverage your dialer? Can we split a dialer? Can I pay you $20 a month and I just put my lists in and I call them and I work when you're not on there or whatever else. You got to remember, people are on there, Bob, get these dialers and they're only on there 3 hours a day or 15 hours a week. There's 150 other hours in the week that they're not using the dialer. So just, don't let that be an excuse. Get a dialer and it'll go a lot faster for you.
I will. Thank you.
All right. You got it. Keep it up. That's awesome, man. See you, bud. Where's Kim? Yep. Kim.
Hey, man.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm good. I talked to you one time on Aaron's broadcast before. Man, how you doing? It is a pleasure.
I'm doing great. Thanks. Nice to see you again. How's business?
Man, it's all right. I got to work it better, though. My team, I just put together a really good team. I'm listening to you like every week now, bro. I just got off Jamal's thing a little while
ago. The
ago.
agent challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated I was missing your stuff for an hour, but like you, my man now. And, I'm rolling with you. I'm really considering joining your course. I love it. Get serious about this thing. So, but I'm really proud to meet you, brother. Again,
good. You too. Do you have any questions that we can help out with?
I do. I got a seller right now. We got a property for, I don't know if it's a creative finance thing or whatever. Let me just ask the question.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle, can you come here for a minute? Let me call my wife and my partner.
Come on, Michelle.
All right, Michelle. Okay. So here's the question. We've got a property right now. They did a refinance or what do you call it?
Home equity?
No, what do you call it?
Reverse mortgage?
Reverse mortgage, yeah.
Yeah.
So they owed $60,000 on it. The property is worth $150,000.
Yeah.
I estimate it's going to cost probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about $50,000 to put it together because it's not a full gut. The guy's actually living in the place.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to figure out. We got 2 other deals going with him too, but we're trying to figure out with that particular deal. Loan modification. That's what it was. He did a loan modification.
Oh, okay,
so
good. Okay.
He's only
if
paying
it's not a reverse. Listen, with reverse mortgages, there's nothing we can do. They already sold it. They're getting paid every month. But if it's a loan mod and it's $60,000, we're good.
Right. He did a loan mod. So the rent in the area is going for $1,200. I'm estimating on a buy and hold.
Yep.
We can probably do on a buy and hold. Then we can probably get. You're probably only going to put maybe 30 to 40,000 into it because everything is good. When we did our comps, we comped it with a garage, so we were too high. Let me make this quick. So what my issue is, I want to know if we can find a buyer to take over that 60,000.
Yeah.
He wants to walk away, say with 70. The ARV is 150.
He wants how much?
He want to be able to walk away maybe with about 10.
Okay, so you can lock it up for 70?
Yeah, we should be able to lock it up for 70.
What's the ARV totally fixed up?
ARV totally fixed up is 140.
Awesome. So I like those numbers.
That's what
lock it up at 70 and sell it for 80.
Right. Okay. And so
don't take over the loan. Just give him a cash. If he only owes 60 and he wants 10, lock it up for 70. Right.
Yeah.
And then put it out to your buyers at 80. It just depends. It's a little tight. If it truly needs 40, how big is the property? Do you know? Is it about 1,000, 1,200?
He's about 900 square feet.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
is it totally destroyed or is it livable?
No, it's in good shape. He's got the floors, the walls are in good shape. He's actually living there. He lives between St. Louis and here, and he's just holding on to this place when he comes in town. So he's done. There's no major renovation. The basement is unfinished. You can do that in the attic, but other than that, it's a really good buy and hold opportunity. Is
Well,
what
let me see. Well, I don't want to go as a buy and hold on this. The only reason why, if it's just cosmetic, your rental buyers they'll be fine with it. But for the most part, people that are building their portfolio don't want to slow down their process with a lot of renovation.
Okay.
Right. You even see Pace Morby talking about it. He's got a big portfolio. He hates doing the renovation. He hates doing the BRRRR strategy. He hates doing all that stuff. If he's going to add it to it, he wants to add it in pretty good shape. But and that's going to be typical. So I'm thinking that if it does need updating, if it does need that 30,000-40,000, let me break down the deal just with real numbers. And if it was beautiful, like totally top of the line, could it go for 150 or 140 is like the most?
Probably 140 the most.
Okay. So let's look at this thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. 140, right? So you got 140 here. And then you need to get a 20,000 profit for anybody that's going to do that work. And then what's 6% of 140, Raf? It's 10? No, 8?
Something like that, like 9.
What? 8,004. Okay, 8,400. So let's get that. What is it? So that's 120, 112, 600, 111, 600. And then you said it needs 30 grand.
I would say between 30 and 40 max.
All right, let's go 40 on this. It's going to be tight at 40 because you see where I'm going here. Because then you're at like 77, right? 71.6, and he wants 70. So I mean, it's a $2,000 deal if it needs 40. If it needs less than that, you can make 5 or 10. But that's how I would push it there.
Okay. Yeah. I think we can get away honestly with he can get away with 30 because when we did our comps, we did the comps with a garage and the basement in Chicago right now. These rehabs, they're doing the basements. But if you're not gonna do that comp, and you're not gonna, how much do you take off if it doesn't have a garage? If you did the comp with a garage,
I mean, garages are huge, right? So parking usually it just depends. In this price point, probably 10 to 15. In higher price points, it's 20 to 100. You know what I mean?
Right.
So probably 15, I would say.
Okay. All right. So then we would probably be, because when we did the comps, my business partner, she comped the areas with garages. So
got it.
That was like 150. So
got it.
We can probably do about 135, like I said.
Okay. Well, lock it up at 70 and sell it and put it out at 80.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
You got it. Let me know how it goes.
Man, I'm with you from now on, man.
I love it. I'm ready for you. Jump into the group. That's awesome.
Last week we did put 4 contracts, 4 deals on the contract.
Yes, Kim. 4. Hey, let's ring that bell. Come on. Here we go. Come on, Kim.
All right. All right,
congratulations. All right.
Thank you so much.
So, Vic in the house, looking swole. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on? What can I help with?
Yeah, I got a question about pre-foreclosures list.
Yeah.
What's a good source now that people are using for pre-foreclosure lists? I tried batch leads and stuff, but that doesn't seem to be clicking pretty good for me.
The best of the best, honestly, is Property Radar. You're going to have to see if they're available in your area. Property Radar. We use them for forever, but we pull ours directly from our MLS. Okay. Outside of that, Vic, you can talk to anybody that's a real estate agent that has access to the MLS in your market, and they should be able to pull that list for you. And you can just say, hey, listen, I'll refer you any retail deals. If you can give me this list of pre-foreclosures, do you have it connected to your MLS? And oftentimes they do.
All right.
And you can get that for free. The title companies have them, but usually it's a little bit dated. You can check with them. Title companies or closing attorneys. But the best bet is either number one for free would just be go to a real estate agent that has it on their MLS, or second, see if Property Radar has it.
Got it.
Yeah. Where do you live?
I'm in right outside of Wilmington, North Carolina, Charlotte.
How's business?
I was going good. I closed a sub 2 deal. I fell into a sub 2 deal, so I closed one earlier this year.
Nice. So did you wholesale it or you own it?
I own it. Yeah, I did.
How's the cash flow?
I make about $200 a month cash flow.
All right, come on, let's go. Let's ring this. Come on, that's awesome, Vic. Here we go. That is awesome. Yeah, go. Homework is go talk to a real estate agent and see if property radar is in your area.
All right. Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Thanks, Vic. See you, buddy. Are you kidding me? Look at this young man here, John Johnson.
Brent Daniels. How you doing, man?
Where are you at right now? What's your location?
I'm in Buenos Aires, Argentina right now.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Doing deals.
Doing deals, Brent. We're doing this business completely virtually, man. I greatly appreciate you, the entire TTP team. Like, I heard about just driving for dollars, and I did that. I drove for the dollars. I used like People Looker, and I called them one by one on Google Voice and like made it happen. So like, I'm very grateful for all that you do. Like, it really is real for people that like don't think like it's real. It's real. Like, keep going. And we support you, man. We really appreciate all the value that you bring to the community, and like, just locking up this next deal. This is going to be the third one. And it's just like, it's so awesome because I really enjoy talking to sellers and like hearing about their situation and actually leading with the value to be able to know how to help these people is awesome. It's an amazing skill, and I'm grateful.
It's the best business ever.
It is.
It's really the best business ever. You're all the way, you're in South America and you're doing this business and absolutely crushing. And not only that, but you're building momentum with your Discord. You're building your momentum by being loud. And I appreciate that you're actually implementing the things that we talk about, because I could get up here and talk about this and it's theory in a lot of people's minds, but when you put it into action, it actually turns into income.
100%. And one of the things that you talk about a lot is like collaboration over competition.
That's
and
right.
It's really difficult to kind of switch your mindset from like the scarcity of, I don't want to let any deals go anywhere. Like, and then really start to be able to collaborate and be like, yo, this person has buyers in this area and this would be a good JV. Like that, to be able to feed other people too and create an opportunity for everybody to win is so fulfilling. And like, to really tap into that is just awesome. And I greatly appreciate all of the value. Like, I've watched nonstop so many of those podcasts with people, and it really shifted my mindset. So I greatly appreciate it. I sincerely
That's awesome.
do.
Good. Any questions?
Yeah. So I got this property locked up. I was wondering maybe if we have enough time to comp it.
We've got like a few people waiting for some questions, but if you want to DM me, I can take a look.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll do that, but I appreciate it, man. I really
You think
do,
it's a
and
good
I'd
deal?
love to. Yeah, I think it's a good deal. We got it locked up for 3.25. I think that the ARV is closer to 515 on it, and I ran the numbers using your estimator, and it looks like there's going to be a good assignment on it.
It sounds like a great assignment. I like those numbers. Those are good numbers. So yeah, DM me.
Thank you, Brent.
All
Thank
right.
you, TTP. Let's go.
Thank you. Thanks for being on here, John. That's awesome. Oh, C-Note Nate closed his first deal June 3rd. Got to celebrate. C-Note. Awesome. Shane Malcolm back again. Saw you Monday. Now I got you all to myself. What's up, man?
Hey, what's happening, Brent? My mic's on?
Yep. You're
okay,
good.
cool. Just making sure. All right.
Yeah.
I got stuck the other day with also just to know I got about 4 sellers that I got now hit me back just recently as I woke up today, and I've been writing down, figuring out their whole setups for their seller financing. And I got stuck because I see that you have to have the monthly PTI and the lot rent on a mobile home has to be paid. And that has me at like 1057, but they also want a $900 a month. They want 10K down with $900 a month with a 10-year balloon. And I was like, so does that make that almost
For the
2,000?
mobile home?
Yeah.
They don't own the land?
On this one, no.
Yeah, don't mess with it.
No.
No, you're basically buying a car.
Yeah.
Like
You're
to
right.
get title on it, you have to go through the DMV. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if they don't own the land, it's literally a motor vehicle division that you have to get the title from. So you're literally making pain. They want you to put $10,000 down in their car. I mean, I get it. Like if you want to do, I mean, it's kind of like starting a business through Turo or whatever, where you buy a car and you rent it out to people and you make the
I passed up on
the
that
different
one.
right.
I passed up on that.
I would not waste your time on it. I would only work with mobile homes or manufactured properties that the land comes with it.
Well, I have another guy in Arizona with one of those.
Good.
And his looks pretty good. His numbers look pretty good.
Okay.
I just don't know, but his ARV might be a little off because he said he got it. It shows that he bought it for $37,000, and he said he gave another $40 under the table to save on like taxes and that because he knew the person.
That's a lie. Come on.
I know. I
That's
was like,
silly.
he always try to throw some extras, but
yeah,
for his, he has a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom that it sits on a lot that he says the lot comes with it, so they own that one, and he wants a 110 purchase price.
Okay.
10% down.
What city is it in?
A month. Yuma.
Okay. Mesa's a lot different than Yuma. That's Raphael's hometown here.
Yuma.
Yeah.
So talk to him about
hometown.
110 in Yuma for a manufactured home.
Yeah, the average pricing for manufactured in Yuma is about 140, 150,
right.
I think, if you own the land. Shane, one thing that you got to look out if you're looking at manufactured properties, make sure they have it's called a certificate of a fixture. So that when you look up public,
the hookups are on the land or direct hookup.
Yeah, it's got to have a certificate of a fixture. It means that it's attached to the land, so it comes with the land. Otherwise, it's just like like Brent said, selling a car.
Yeah, he says that one does.
There's a lot of mobile homes in Yuma. So yeah, and the price point. So I mean, meaning that they do move. So it's almost we see mobile homes here in a space where you have a lot of single family houses, but mobile homes in Yuma are very, very common. So people buy those all the time and sell them. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that he says that these ones don't have like the tanks on it; they're direct hookups and all of that.
Okay. No. So yeah, if they're affixed to the land, they're gonna be anchored in, and then they have actual sewage and
yeah, I think he says it's like that.
House. Yeah, so it's not a hookup, type of setup that you have. You have if there's a certificate of a fixture, it's gonna be attached to the land, connected to city services and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Why so many manufactured houses, Shane?
They seem to be the ones that everybody wants to talk to seller finance to me about.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Like it seemed they're always like it's an abundance of them. I use a little trick where I'll just go on the MLS sometimes and type in the little thing owner finance, see the ones that say it, talk to those people, and I get the best conversations out of them. And I've actually been on this guy for like 2 months now. He was a follow-up because he has 2 lots like that.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get both of them gone for a certain amount, but I was trying to get him to come down. He finally did, but he didn't want to seller finance, but I got him for one of them. He will.
Got it. Just make sure that the terms are incredible. You either get wholesale price or wholesale terms. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just make sure that it is a no-brainer to put these together. And I would highly suggest that you sell those and not keep those.
Okay,
because
yeah,
those
I
are
was
a
gonna
nightmare for long term. Yeah, you might be getting some cash flow, but all that cash flow, what people don't understand, gets eaten up when they beat the hell out of those manufactured homes.
Mm-hmm.
So all those profits that you had, get eaten up. So everything right now as you're building momentum, Shane, get them locked up, sell them to somebody else. Wholesale. Build up your bank account super heavy and healthy. All right.
Okay, for sure. Thanks, man.
Good to see you. Samuel, look at this guy. Samuel just froze. Oh, man, you've been waiting too. Totally froze. Let's try Michael and see if Samuel will come up. Michael, how are you? Oh, turn your mic on, buddy. Oh, no, we'll turn your mic on.
No, he has to.
Okay.
There it is.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
Great. I have some good news. Well, I don't have a deal locked up, but I definitely have something in a work. Actually, I do have a deal locked up ever since I talked to you. So
come on, yeah.
So I have 2 single families locked up. I'm pushing it out towards my buyers list. I'm hearing people come with offers as well, but I'm hoping that I can definitely let this go soon. It closes next month. I'm
Sell
going
it.
I know. Sell it, sell it, sell it. I'm going to actually Facebook meetup tonight and everything. And I brought like papers showing my deal as well. Maybe I get lucky. Someone buys it right for me right then and there. I hear stories about it all the time. Also, I have another possible deal on Saturday. My partner I actually JV'd with, he should be meeting up with a distressed property owner for a deal for $60,000, and it might be a steal as well. So I'm going along with the TTT program. I have a goal of 50 calls a week. Look! Oh, you can't even see this. This
there
TTT
it is.
document sheet. I can't even show it. Hold on, give me a second. Maybe I can
Put it
show
in front of your shirt. There you go.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, yeah, there it is. It's the top contact sheet. And
I love it.
I'm actually at about 30 calls this week, so I'm about 20 calls away from hitting my goal. And
Awesome.
I have a possible one. My plan is, for anyone listening, is I have prior experience with JVing with my partners earlier this year, and I actually made money with different people who work for Keegley and another JV wholesaler out of Florida. But I like my idea is to go into their list and go into their possible buyers list and possible closing title companies as well, because they have history of closing with those same title companies and calling their list. So like, for an example, let's say like Dallas, Texas is your list, Brent, and I would call your list in Dallas, Texas. And if I find a distressed property owner, I'd get it under contract, and then we link up and try our best. So
I love it. Listen, the whole Yoda thing, right? There is no try, just do or do not. Like, for real. You need to get on. You need to be relentlessly calling every single buyer that you possibly can. Everybody that's done a flip in that zip code, that area, that city, of that deal that you have now. Get on the phone and say, hey, listen, I got a phenomenal deal for you. Like, you got to check this out. I'm going to text you the details. You know what I'm saying? All the real estate agents on Zillow that have a flip property that is sold or is listed active right now, I want you to call all of them and tell them you have an unbelievable off-market deal that you think that they should review.
Absolutely.
And then just go, like, you need to be as aggressive finding your deal as you are selling your deal.
That's it. That's what I need to hear. Yes, absolutely. And I texted you earlier this week about, like, I don't know if anybody else understands this, but does cold calling work for buyers as well? And I think that counts for buyers, and you told me it counts for buyers, and that's good too.
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
Yep, 1,000%. So keep it going. Keep me posted. Text me. Let me know how it goes.
No problem. I will. You have a wonderful day, Brent.
All right, you too. Guys, squat up with Michael. He is ready to squat up. He's in the comments. He had his number up there. If you need it, go back and take a screenshot and give him a call. Samuel Kemp, hey.
You can hear me now? Good.
It's great to see you.
Sorry, I was on data.
Usually it's just a thumbnail of, I think, like a wolf or a husky
or
something,
wolf.
right? Yeah. How are you? Where are you at?
In Lynchburg, Virginia right now. I'm trying to get into the West Palm market, though.
Okay, excellent. What can we help with?
So I just sent my acquisition manager out to a property today to lock up a deal we've been working on for a while. We actually had it locked up before, canceled on it because we couldn't get access because the tenants wouldn't let us in. The owner said, okay, we got it sorted. They'll let us in now. So I sent him out there. It's a long drive for him. And the tenants were there. They just ignored him, didn't answer the phone, wouldn't let him in. And the owner said, "Oh, just come back Friday. We'll get in." And he's not even sure if he has a key. So I'm just wondering, what should I do? Because I don't want to waste my guy's time just going out there for no reason.
Are you able to talk to the tenants yourself?
I had my guy call both of them. He kept calling them, but they just weren't answering the phone. They're just trying
Can
to.
the owner meet you there and open it up?
He doesn't even know if he has a key.
Can you meet with a locksmith and the owner to open it up?
I thought about that, but would that cause any legal issues, just showing up with a locksmith and going in?
Not with the 48-hour notice. I mean, you can talk to a real estate attorney if you want, but I've never had a problem with it. I mean, typically if you look at you have them review. Are they still under contract, or are they month to month?
They're month to month.
Right. Okay. So I would have the original, whatever lease that they signed, I would look and see if in there, and talk to the landlord the owner of it and say, hey, listen, do you have in your lease agreement that you can go in there within a certain amount of
Notice.
warning, right?
Yeah.
Notice. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I would talk to him and say, hey, listen, do you have in your original lease agreement any idea of how much notice you need to give him to go in there?
Yeah, because he was they threatened legal action against him, and he was getting kind of scared of it. That's why he wants to get rid of it, and he's so motivated.
Well, this is a great point too. Can you do it sight unseen and get it for $20,000-$40,000 less?
That's a good point. I could try and do that because my guy got all the outside pictures.
Like a no-brainer price, right? Like no brainer. You're gonna probably have to close this thing or give it to a buyer that's really comfortable doing sight unseen and comfortable with those situations. So it has to be a no brainer. What price have you negotiated so far?
So we're thinking that we can sell for 90, and he's at 70, and he's one of the sellers where he's like not a penny less. I want to do 69,99999.
Well, then he has to get you access.
Yeah.
And remember, listen, he's at the height of the market. He's going to lose money every month that he doesn't sell this. So either he makes the contact there or he reduces it now and gets done with this property. He has to be very motivated to sell it if his tenants are going to be nightmares. You know what I mean? Okay. And I would just try to go over there and knock on their door and try to have a conversation with them.
The tenants, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Play middleman. Just be like, we're buying this house. I wanted to let you know you guys haven't been responding, and I don't want this to come as a shock to you guys, but we need to be able to get into the house. We need to be able to go. Your landlord's giving you notice to come into the property. I don't want to come in there and mess with any of your stuff. Whatever you want to do, I don't care. But we just need to get into the property at this time. Does that work?
Gotcha.
And then keep building it that way.
All right.
Yeah, just try to play middleman if you can, but see if there's any kind of timeline that of notice that they have.
Lease agreement.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Brent.
Awesome. Keep it up, brother. That's awesome. Thanks. What a great show. Come on up, guys. Come on up. Thank you guys for joining us every Wednesday. We are here. And this show happens because of you guys. I mean, it just does not happen without your participation. Rafael Cortez, Aaron, and Matt left here. Alejandro's already on a call because we ran over a little bit. So I love you guys. Remember, keep your house clean. Your house clean, right? Protect your health and increase your value to the world, and you will live an incredible life. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.